We'll now go to this last part of the talk on the Morse index of Willmore surfaces. So if you remember, the Willmore energy is a first order functional. So if you look at the second derivative, it will be quite complicated. But looking at the work of Bryant, we see that we can try to see what we can say about the case of conformally minimal surfaces, and it will be a general case at least for immersions. And the first result that I proved was to show that in the case of conformally minimal immersions of surface in 2 or 3, the second derivative simplified a lot. So phi will be your smooth closed Willmore immersion, and phi will be the inversion of it, which will be a minimal surface of finite total curvature. And so the second derivative, at I wrote Q phi, will simplify a lot like this. So you have a first term that actually comes from the second derivative of the integral of h squared. So as you are conform a minimal surface, h is 0, so it will be, that's why you get the Jacobi operator to the square, delta g minus 2k. The second term will come, in fact, from the integral of the Gauss curvature. Normally, you can neglect this quantity, but since the surface is non-compact, you can't. So, but by Gauss-Bonnet, you know that it will be a closed and, in fact, exact form. So it takes its form like this, and then we would like to give a more precise expression for this. So the idea is to remove small disks on sigma near the ends, and then in this case we can apply the Stokes theorem to express the last quantity, this exact form, and it takes then you get a limit which is well defined because the previous expression was well defined, and we show that for relative to the choice of chars we made, like this, from a domain in our Riemann surface sigma into the unit disk in the plane, and then we define this ball b epsilon of pi like this. Then there exists some alpha I which will depend on the chart. In fact, it will just depend on this ui that is chosen, not on the precise chart. And you get a renormalized energy like this. So the first term will be finite because you remove the ends, while the metric will go to infinity. And then you have this term, minus 8 pi times this sum of alpha I squared divided by epsilon squared times v2 of pi. In particular, if you have a variation where v vanishes at all those points, then this limit will be non-negative. So you deduce that the index is less than n, which is 1/4 pi times the Willmore energy, which is the first result. Of course, we will not stop there because we have renormalized energy, so we should be able to compute it. Here it will get a bit more technical, but I first state the result. So yes, the renormalized energy exists, and it takes the following form. So the first term will be also some Jacobi, the integral of the Jacobi field to the square for some other function u0, and plus some finite dimensional quadratic form. So you have the existence of some matrix lambda, which only depends on the minimal surface, and we see there's no choice of charts here, times the value of vpi, vpj. And furthermore, we can find variations such that the first term, positive one, or non-negative one, will vanish. We show that the index is exactly one of this matrix, which for the case of immersions happens to have a 0 diagonal. So its trace is 0 in particular, and the index is less than n-1. Then I will explain how we can obtain this renormalized energy. The idea is to construct by Jacobi field, so not LG is equal to 0, but LG squared is equal to 0, or minimize this Jacobi this energy, this Jacobi operator to the square on sigma epsilon with some adequate boundary conditions, and then remove those terms which are supposed to capture all this singular term. So it's what it's written here. by a standard method due to SMERL, we can construct functions u epsilon I, where you take directly a Neumann condition on some delta of p epsilon pi. And in fact, it's obtained by taking 0 Neumann and directly condition on other b delta of pi, and then make delta goes to 0. And in the analysis, we need to make some indicial root analysis. And in this one, we can see that this Jacobi operator near the end, in the case of immersion, will simplify a lot. It will look like x squared times this second order elliptic operator, delta minus 4x over x squared times the gradient, plus 4 over x squared, which is called an elliptic operator with regular singularities, as you can see in the book of Paccard and Rivière on Ginzburg-Landau, except that there's an additional term of order 1, but it's the right generalization of this. And we can show by a direct estimate that this quantity will be finite, will be uniformly bounded near the ends. That's good, but we want to know more, and lemma will come to help. That this, if you integrate this quantity, this integral of the operator to the square, the same as the Laplacian to the square, if the function or its normal derivative vanishes on the boundary. And in fact, it's due to which fact that if you write this operator L1, the one on the right, delta minus 4x over the square, okay? In fact, the adjoint of L times L is the bi-Laplacian. So it's what I wrote here. And to me, this was a quite a funny result, where you get a 2 factorization of delta square, which are 2 non-trivial. So we will use this bound that near an end, this quantity will be finite. And by an initial root analysis, we can find this expansion. We have some term of pole of order 1. And then the interesting part is this coefficient Aij times the logarithm of d, because this coefficient Aij will not depend on the chart. Then we have this quantity q epsilon of u, 1/2 of the integral of on sigma epsilon of Lg of u squared. And then we remove the sum of this u epsilon I. So it gives various terms. And you first prove that indeed, this quantity q epsilon of u epsilon I will exactly capture the singular term. And for the rest, you can integrate by parts in 2 different ways. This b epsilon of u epsilon I, u epsilon j, which is just the scalar product of the two Jacobi operator of each of them. And you find this expression minus a pi times aij v of pj, or minus a pi aji vpi. So you deduce, as they must be the same, that there exists lambda ij in R, such that lambda ji is lambda ij, and aij is lambda ij vpi. And then by a similar computation, the additional term will be of the same form. So if you add up everything, plus the constant term, q epsilon, u epsilon, which will be bounded, because you have already captured all the singular quantity, and you know that the limit exists. Then you get this term, which is that I mentioned previously. So I don't know if it's clear. So you have this first q epsilon of u epsilon, which will converge to the first term in this integral in 7. And then you have minus 4 pi times this sum plus 8 pi times this sum. So you get this quantity. And the interesting thing is then to show that, what does it show? It shows that first index is less than the one of this matrix, which is the number of strictly negative eigenvalues. But we want the equality. So we want to find variations such that the first non-negative term will vanish. And what we will use this function u0 that we built. I mean, another function u0, but in fact it will be the sum of those u epsilon I when epsilon goes to 0. The interesting part is that this function will satisfy, it's a bi-Jacobi field, it satisfies LG square of u0 equal to 0. And it has the following expansion. And this time, if we go back to the very first formula, so let me just go back to it here. Now we can plug in with this new function, but we should remember that this formula was for C2 variations. So we can compute directly. But now the good point is that the first term, the integral of LG u0, you can integrate by parts directly, and LG square is 0. So you just get you get something that you can compute, and the singular terms will vanish, and you get only this constant term 4 pi times the sum of lambda ij, vpi, vpj. So it's the main result, main corollary in the case of immersions. The Morse index is less than 1 over 4 pi times the Wallman energy minus 1. And there's a generalization of this by Hirsch and Maeder-Bobnicker, where they show this between n-3 and n-2. And for the case of a sphere, they show that it's 1. And then if we come back to the first theorem about the Kushner conjecture, then it seems even more likely, because this, we do a one-dimensional min-max, and the index of this surface, which is of Laue energies, is equal to 1. So if we were in a nice enough setting, then it would basically settle the conjecture. But we saw in the theorem of Rivière, we had to consider branched immersions. So now we'll go to the case of Willmore index of conformally minimal branched immersions. It's a bit more complicated, as one can see. But you have the same formula, and by an interesting technical point that was already pointed out long ago by Tristan Rivière. In general, if you look at the Morse index, there's some kind of dogma saying that you should consider, even the first variation, you should consider normal variations because the tangential part will not matter. But the thing is that when you do this, sometimes you assume that you have more regularity than you have. For example, if you're just a weak immersion W22, the normal will be W12. So that's why when you compute the Euler-Lagrange equation, you will find this H cube. Otherwise, if you were considering general variations, you could get this weak formulation of the Willmore energy. So here it's the same. We need to consider normal variation, not normal, but general variations. But it's computable. And for example, in the case of the catenoid end, like for the catenoid, we show that this tangential part is completely determined by the normal one. And then this term gamma 1, gamma 2 will not matter at all. So it's quite interesting to have so that shows that even if you need to add them so that the formulas make sense, in the end they don't, because they are fixed by the normal part. And there's in general there's a more general algorithm, but I won't give it here. It's quite painful to write. And finally, I give the result. So it's the same. You can compute this renormalized energy, and we have the same formula, and we can also find variations such that the first positive term will vanish. And so we get this nice formula that the Morse index is less than 1 over 4 pi times the Willmore energy minus 1 over 2 pi times the Gauss curvature plus the Euler characteristic. So if you were an immersion, of course, the last two terms would vanish. And that concludes my talk. So I would like to thank you for following me up to this. Thank you.